Respondent. It's a legitimate way to make some money in your spare time by sharing your opinion on current or upcoming products, and you can get paid pretty well too. Average incentive rates range from $100 to $700 an hour, depending on your industry or your level of expertise. In this video, I'm going to break down how Respondent works, how to set yourself up for success on the platform, and how much I've made so far. First up, you should know that market research is this huge industry. Companies are happy to pay for them a relatively small amount upfront to gather feedback and guide product development than to launch a product that sucks. That's a lot more expensive for them. Now, Respondent is one of several companies that helps those businesses gather that all-important feedback. To get in on the action, you're going to need to set up a participant account. I'll put my direct referral link for you in the description below. You can set up that account with either an email and password, or by connecting either your LinkedIn or Facebook accounts, since there seems to be a focus on tech or industry studies rather than general population market research. I chose the LinkedIn option in my case. From there, you're going to be prompted to fill in some basic demographic and employment information. The more accurate and detailed that you can be here, the better Respondent is going to be able to match you up to the right paid studies. Let's take a look inside my personal account dashboard to give you a sense of what's inside. Now, once you're logged in, you are presented with all your different project options. It says there are 218 available at the moment. You'll be able to see how much they pay, how long they're supposed to take, and what type of study it is. So, for example, this is a $200 study for 30 minutes. It's a $400 an hour, if I'm doing my math correctly, for information on cold email reply rates. If you send any cold email worth applying to that one, it'll tell you that it's a one-on-one interview and that it is remote. Most of the studies are going to be remote these days, but occasionally you'll see in-person studies. The default sorting for this feed is by most relevant, but sometimes I toggle it to most recent to see what happens, because they tend to fill up quickly. Like, okay, this one was only added, 10 minutes ago, 26 minutes ago. So you can see new studies are being added all the time, which is a good sign. And just another way to look at the data there. You can also filter by, general population. These tend to pay a little bit less. Industry professionals tend to pay a little bit more. In-person by remote. And you could say, well, no, I only want to deal with the ones that are going to pay me $600 or something. You probably won't find too many there, but they have some interesting filters and toggles there as well. If you see a study that you think might be a fit, the next step is to answer the screener questions, which if you go to the next page here, it'll say start screener, people involved with digital experience. If that is you, it will open up, in this case, 12 usually multiple choice questions, sometimes short fill in the blanks. They're not asking for a ton of your time here because they know this is unpaid. But once you fill that in and then you hopefully ultimately get selected, then you will advance on to the paid portion of that. Now, don't stress if you don't get selected right away. For the sake of reference, I have had about a 10% hit rate from these screeners that I filled into actually getting selected for a paid project. And the other important note is that you are limited to 10 screeners a day, which is just to prevent you from applying to every single project, even if you're not a good fit. Now, if you are selected, you're going to get an email and a text message notifications. It says, hey, awesome, you've been selected. Schedule a time to complete this project. Once that is done, you'll usually get paid within a week or two straight to your PayPal account. You can see your full project application and payment history under the My Projects tab. So you can see how, these are a handful that I've applied to recently but haven't been selected for. And here are a couple recent ones that have been paid. If you open one of these up, it'll say, okay, this was $50 for 50 minutes and it has been paid. And this one was $50 for 30 minutes and that has been paid. In total, I've earned $315 with Respondent so far in exchange for 3.5 hours of project time. So I'm right around $90 an hour. Pretty easy money. Now, as promised, I want to share some of my best practices for earning money with Respondent. First up, set a calendar reminder. So you got to set a reminder to log in weekly to check for new studies, or even every few days, because unlike other survey sites, Respondent doesn't proactively message participants to let you know about new opportunities. Or if they do, at least I don't receive them very often. So you got to log in and check manually. Number two is to decide quickly. If you see a project that you think might be a fit, fill out that screener survey right away, because as you might guess, these types of studies fill up pretty quick. Number 3 is to be honest. Of course, when filling out these screener survey questions, you got to answer honestly. It might eliminate you from certain projects, but the goal here is to maximize your time by really only participating in the surveys that are best for you. You don't want to have something rejected or end up just being not a good fit. So this helps the companies seeking the feedback as well. Number 4, verify your work email. A lot of Respondent projects target industry professionals, and you can give your profile and your account a leg up by verifying your work email, because this lets the researchers know that you're still active at your company and in the industry that they're targeting. Number 5 is to link your social accounts. This is another way to make your profile more attractive to researchers, because they can now see some of your presence on the web outside of just your Respondent profile. They'll allow you to connect Facebook, LinkedIn, GitHub, and Slack at press time here. And number 6 is to record a personal welcome video. This is a new feature that Respondent has added recently. And it's that you can record a short 60-second video to put a face and a voice to your profile here. They suggest sharing your name and location, where you currently work, and some of your day-to-day responsibilities, and any skills that you've mastered. And if you're camera shy, don't stress. This is totally optional. I have not yet recorded mine either, so don't stress about that. But if you do just a few of these things, I think it's going to help you stand out from the crowd and hopefully get selected for some studies here. So what do people complain about with Respondent? First, that it's mostly for US residents. There are some international projects that pop up, but you're going to need to have a PayPal account in order to get paid. Respondent lists Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Ireland, Netherlands, New Zealand, Spain, and the United Kingdom as some other places that they specifically welcome participants from. Second is customer support. A couple years ago, it was almost impossible to get a response from Respondent if you had any questions regarding your study, your payment, or if you needed to update your profile in some way. I think it was a case of the company simply growing too fast to support that user base, and those complaints seem to have subsided, at least at the time of this recording. Third thing you need to know is fees. For every study that you do, Respondent takes a 5% cut, or $1, whichever is greater. For me, not really a deal breaker, since it's money I otherwise wouldn't have earned, but something to keep in mind, that $100 incentive that you see advertised is really going to be $95 when it hits your account. If you're into this sort of thing, there are a couple other sites that I found that operate similarly and also have really strong payouts. The closest match is User Interviews, and I'll link up my full review and a direct referral link for that one below. And my most recent find is called Rare Patient Voice, which specializes in medical research for people with rare, and even as their website will say, not so rare conditions, and they pay $100 an hour. I'll link that one up for you in the description below too. As always, SideHustleNation.com is your home base for hundreds of actionable ways to make extra money. Make sure to subscribe to the Side Hustle Show podcast and this channel for more money-making ideas. Thanks so much for tuning in. Cheers.